I've been a customer of Hearts for 8 years now. 10 years ago, my family and I moved here to San Diego, and we bought what we thought was this wonderful, lovely home here in Poway. And almost immediately, I began to get symptoms like I had the flu, and that's exactly what I thought was going on. I thought, oh my goodness, you know, just the stress of moving and unpacking and cleaning up and stuff, I've caught the flu. But as time went by, I began to get more and more ill. And so I went to my doctor here in San Diego, and they kept saying, oh, you know, it's just stress. And then it was, oh, it's just this other thing. And they kept giving me medications and things, and I just continued to get more and more ill. And so finally I told my husband, you know, I think we bought a sick home, because the woman who lived in this house previously had very severe illnesses. And I thought, gosh, I'm wondering if it's the house. There's something wrong with this house.
Now, did you smell anything at the time?
I did not.
The...
I could not figure it out. And so I actually, through a friend of mine, found a doctor in La Jolla who was a naturopathic doctor, because the regular doctors that I was going to could not figure out what was wrong with me. And through this naturopathic doctor, he tested me for allergies and things, and he thought I had environmental illness. And so he tested me for allergies, and in fact I was testing positive for just about everything. And he began giving me allergy treatments and supplements, all different kinds of vitamins and minerals and vitamin B injections and things, and yet I continued to get sicker and weaker, and it came to the point where I could hardly get out of bed. And so about 2 years after we moved in here, about a year after we moved into this home, my mother moved in with us. She sold her home and she moved in with us. And she took one of the bedrooms, 2 of the bedrooms in our house. And I asked her, Mom, is this house affecting you in any way? And she said, well, you know, at night the cat just kind of sits and looks at the walls. She just kind of looks up at the walls, and she's always, like, sometimes I think she's going to play because she's, like, climbing up the walls. And I said, you know, I've noticed that too, and I just thought she was being silly. And she said, no, and sometimes I hear, like, the scratching noise. And I said, oh my gosh, why have you not told me about that? And so I began calling pest control companies, and I called 5 different pest control companies, including one large state pest control company. And they all came and looked around my property. They even went up in the attic, and they said, oh no, lady, there's nothing up there. There's no problem. And I thought, oh my gosh, I must be losing my mind. And one day, 2 years down the road, mind you, my husband and I went to the Poway, old Poway days in downtown Poway. And there was this man there, and he had a table set up with plastic rats and things climbing up ropes and stuff. And I went over and I said, oh, I really like your plastic rats. They're so cute. And he went, well, he said, yeah, they're kind of neat, aren't they? But if you really have that problem in your house, it's not so fun. And I began telling him about these noises in my house and how I'd been feeling. And he said, oh, sounds like you have rats. And I said, well, you know, I've had all these pest control places come to my house, and they haven't found anything. And he said, well, you know, if you want, I have a fellow at my company who is very good at pest control and identifying the signs. And I said, well, I've had 5 or 6 other companies, and they've not seen anything. And he said, well, if you would like us to come, I won't even charge you. You can we'll just come. He can just walk around your house, and he'll be able to tell. I said, okay. When can you come? He said, tomorrow. It was on a Sunday, and he said, tomorrow at this time, the guy will be there. And sure enough, the next day he came. And I was amazed, because not only did he come when he said he was going to come, but I knew they meant business, because Jerry and his partner came, and they had the white jumpsuits, the booties, the respirator, the gloves, and they came and they said, "Where's the end?" First, the one fellow walked around my house and he said, "Oh yes, ma'am, look, there's the rodent feces, there's the rodent urine trails, they're coming up this way, and these trees they're using as a ladder, and they're coming up your fireplace." And I was like, oh my gosh. Then they came into my home and they said, "Where's the entrance to your attic?" And they went up there and they said, "Oh my gosh, lady, you have a rat infestation." And I said, "How come nobody else found it?" And Jerry said, "Okay, I want to show you something." And he said, "I'm going to go out to my truck and I'm going to bring in a clear plastic box, because I want you to see what I'm seeing." And he brought in this clear plastic box. And he said, "See, there's no fake sides or bottoms or anything." And he said, "I'm going to take this up and I'm going to cut a piece of your insulation out. And I'm going to put it in this box because I want you to see exactly what I'm seeing." And when he brought it down, the insulation, which is supposed to be pink, was brown, almost black. And there was a petrified rat body in there, and rat feces. It was the most disgusting thing I've ever seen. It was horrendous. He said, "Your attic is full of this. There are rat nests, rat bodies, and rat feces, all stuck inside the insulation."
And there was something else you said you found it,
Well,
besides the rat.
after that, I contracted Hearts to do the rat eradication from my attic. And they said, "Well, what we need to do is we need to bomb, because rats have diseases, so you need to get rid of the fleas and all of that they bring in. So we need to bomb, we need to vacuum, we need to bag all that stuff in your attic so we don't bring it through your house. And then we need to put in new insulation, and while we're at it, we should just like upgrade the insulation," which I thought was an excellent idea. "And then we'll bomb and get rid of all that stuff one more time, and then you'll be set." Well, while they were up in my attic doing all of that, over my dining room, they discovered a 3-foot by 3-foot pile of raccoon feces, which nobody else saw. How do you miss a 3-foot by 3-foot pile of raccoon feces? That was just disgusting. And they actually did this. It took them 2 days to do this. They did this on a weekend so as not to disrupt my family.